Welcome to part 5 of my Let's Play series of videos for Dwarf Fortress. So the last few videos basically covered the whole process leading up to actually playing the game, and now we're digging and creating our Dwarf Fortress, as the game would have you believe. Alright, so basically the last thing I showed you was how to use the designation key up here, D hotkey, to choose to mine out this mountain. So just escaping out here and using the shift and pointy bracket to get back to where my dwarves are chilling up here. The game is still paused. You can probably see that there's some remains down here. That's part of the reason I like to bring cats and dogs, is that there are various critters that roam the map, vermin and stuff. They could sometimes run off with your food and give your dwarves unhappy thoughts and things like that. And having cats will be awesome, because they'll just kill those things, and they'll go kill fish and leave all kinds of nice fish parts around for you to do things with. War dogs, as I probably said before, are just nice because they they are a good part of your military. So going back down below, you'll probably notice that I made this mine shaft 3 spaces wide. Now, contrary to what your girlfriend tells you, the width of your shaft does matter. And the reason I made this particular shaft 3 units wide is because when you get a trade caravan coming your way, they'll bring camels with them, and camel-drawn wagons occasionally. Now, when you build the trade depot inside your fortress, which is a good idea, since you can protect the traders from thieves and things that will try to steal their stuff, they will need to be able to get their camels inside, and they cannot actually fit in here unless the shaft is 3 units wide. So that's the reasoning behind that. And eventually you'll need to widen this to have room to put the trade depot. It's something like 5 units squared, 5 by 5. I'm just going to dig this a little bit deeper here, so I'm going to designate, so if you mess up, use the X key, remove designation. See, I made this actually 4, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Then I'm going to go back to D for mining, and I'm going to mine this out. Make that just a little bit deeper here, make that shaft a little longer. Who doesn't want a longer shaft, right? Okay, so my dudes are coming in here, they're going to mine this out. And before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and make room for that trade depot when I finally get around to building it. This little cursor's in the way, but basically what I've done here is I just widened the shaft by 5 units length here, and of course, since this is 3, that's now 5 by 5. So once these guys get around to digging this out, I'll have a 5 by 5 square right here. Now eventually I can build my trade depot here, and it will be protected within the confines of my fortress. This whole corridor is eventually going to be lined with traps, so when goblins inevitably come and try to steal my stuff, they will get caught in cages, and then I will dispose of their bodies in all kinds of fun ways. Okay, so the next important thing to know is how to dig down. You've seen basically how to dig on a horizontal plane, but now you're probably wondering, okay, how do I plumb the depths of my world and find all the good minerals and stuff? Well, here's your answer. So you're going to go back to the designation menu, D, up here, and you are going to place a downward stairway, J key. So one thing I'll mention here is that when you're placing this, you want to make at least 2 adjacent to each other. The reason is that dwarves will occasionally have some congestion in hallways and stairways that are only 1 unit wide, because they can't pass each other, so that's no good. You want to make sure that your staircases, when you put them in, are at least in a pair. Okay, so I'm going to resume the game. My miners are going to come, they're going to dig this out. There's my 2 little downward stairs. Okay, now here is something fun. Okay, I'm going to go down 1 level, and there is basically, this is rock that's been exposed by my downward stairs. Now watch what happens if I try to mine this. Press designate that to mine. I'm going to resume. Nothing happens. the reason is that my guys can't get to it. A downward stairway is only half of a stairway. You need to make an up stairway on the level below your down stairway that matches up with it. So what I'm going to do is, since this can't be mined, I'm just going to go ahead and remove these designations. So it's just back to this exposed whatever this is. Probably some kind of shale or clay silt. And I'm going to build an upward stairway. Upward stairway is U. Notice all these nice tooltips that tell you exactly what things do. I'm going to put those in there. And I'm also going to dig out a little bit around it and press escape and then press space to resume. Now you see my miners will come dig this out. And before I was kind of wondering out loud what this material is exactly that I'm digging into. Well, there's a way to tell. You have a hotkey K, look around. If you press K, it brings your cursor up, and you notice if you put your cursor somewhere where you don't have it exposed, it just gives you really general information. It's inside, it's dark, it's subterranean, pretty basic. If I were to go above, outside here somewhere, it's outside, it's light, and it's above ground. Well, let me go back down. I'm going to go over here, scroll over. Okay, so this is a clay wall, as I thought, it's some kind of clay, and a clay cavern floor. So compared to hard stone, clay is kind of nice to dig into because it doesn't leave behind any rocks, and you'll see what I mean later. This is really nice because rocks, while they can be used to build things, tend to get in the way and kind of clog things up, and they're just generally kind of a pain in the neck when you're trying to make a nice pretty fortress. So clay layers are good for stockpiles, which I'll get into in a second. So anyway, this is my subterranean layer for now. So what I'll do is go back up and show you how to start cutting down trees. This is kind of the next important thing you want to do. You may not always have access to wood, which is a bummer because wood is pretty useful, and dwarves really prefer to make things with stone, but wood is the only thing that you can make beds out of. Dwarves will sleep on the floor, but they sure don't like it. They would much rather sleep on a nice wooden bed. So you can see my little woodcutter guy is sitting here with nothing to do, and my pets have decided to drag all kinds of bloody remains to my wagon. Not nice of them. So what I want to do to get these guys to start cutting trees, I'm going to go down a level. I'm going to use D for designations. I'm going to, you see it's already selected. It's already highlighted. Might be hard to see. This is kind of a darker gray and this is kind of a white, but chop down trees, the T key, will let you either click on trees like so to manually choose them one at a time, or if you're impatient like me, you can use your kind of wide area selection by selecting one corner, pressing enter, and you see it leaves behind this little blinking cursor. Then you can move it up to somewhere else far away, and now you see that all of these trees kind of turned black. That means that they've been designated to be chopped down by my woodcutter. So I'm going to press escape to exit out of this menu, press space to resume, and now you'll see, hey, there's my guy right here, and he's cutting down trees. Now I see cats sometimes following people around, cats and dogs. The reason is that pets sometimes adopt people. I know it's kind of weird, it's kind of the opposite of how it works in real life, but yeah, they'll occasionally get attached to people and follow them around. And while that's cool and everything, it also means that you can't butcher them for their sweet, delicious meat. If you're so inclined. So, something to keep in mind. Okay, so right now you might have noticed that while my woodcutter is being awesome and cutting these trees down, they're leaving behind these little log piles. Now, that's cool. I like having logs and piles all over the place as much as the next person, but what I'd really like is to have a way to get these logs in one centralized location. So, one way to do this is to create what's called a stockpile. A stockpile is an area that you've set aside for certain kinds of materials. So right here, P is the key for stockpiles, you can see. I'm going to press P. Now stockpiles can't be designated with a mouse. As you can see, I'm trying to click here. It can only be done with a cursor. You'll kind of learn in time what things can be done with the cursor and what things have to be done with the mouse or whatever, But anyway, so when you press P, it gives you all these different kinds of stockpiles you can make. Well, the one I want is wood, W. So I'm going to press W. You see the wood is now highlighted. And I'm going to press enter to designate one corner of the stockpile, and then I'll make it about, let's say, yay big. So you see this area now has kind of like a gray checkered pattern. If I press escape, now if I press resume to get the game going again, you'll notice that guys that are not doing anything, so like my doctor / expedition leader, now are starting to haul the wood that's been cut. I'm not exactly sure why my woodcutter isn't cutting these trees. What could he be doing? Well, let's pause the game and find out. One really quick way to see what people are doing is to press the U key for units. And that is right about... where'd it go? Well, it's around here somewhere. Anyway, so if I press U, it brings up this list, and it shows you your guys, your dwarves, and it tells you exactly what they're doing right now. So you see my miner is having a drink, my other miner has no job currently, my carpenter has no job, my expedition leader's on break, my mason has no job, my farmer has no job, my diagnoser has no job. Animals can't really have jobs. I can see also on this list other animals that are nearby, or relatively nearby, and you can see there's like some groundhogs that I can see that are pretty close. My cats will probably get around to killing those things pretty soon. Okay, so let me resume this and go back up a level, and you'll see, pretty soon when my guys are done lollygagging and drinking booze and stuff, they're gonna go back to cutting those trees. So anyway, while that's going on, I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna dig out some more stuff down below. So using my mouse, I'm just gonna designate a hallway. Now at this point, your hallways don't have to be 3 units wide. That's really only important for your kind of main hallway, and for reasons I mentioned before, specifically that has to do with the trade depot and allowing their oxen or whatever to come into your fortress to set up their goods in the trade depot. Get more into that later. I usually just make it 3 units wide because it's nice and kind of a wide thoroughfare. People don't get jammed up when they're doing all kinds of odd jobs. So let's kind of scroll over a little bit more here. Okay, I'm going to pause the video for a sec while I designate some stuff to get mined out. Okay, as you can see, I've got a nice little pattern of rooms here designated to get mined out, so I'm going to go ahead and unpause the game and let my miners start digging this out. Now, again, I happen to be in basically a soft layer of ground. This is clay. You might have sand or peat or silt or whatever, and if that's the case, you're not going to have any stone left behind. Again, I'll show you what I mean later, but you might find when you're playing that you have all this stone sitting around. Don't worry, it's not bad. In fact, you need that stone to make things, so don't freak out. If you want to get it out of the way, I can show you a way to do that a little later on. It involves creative use of game mechanics, and it's something called a quantum stockpile, but yeah. Alright, so I'm going to pause while these guys finish this up, and almost out of time anyway, so just do one more thing here. Okay, I have to unpause because this is pretty hilarious. It's obviously not scripted, and this is the first time this has happened to me. I actually got migrants already. Usually this doesn't happen for a season or two, but yeah, I got some migrants. You can see they show up kind of on the corner of the map over here. And these guys are basically going to join my dwarves, which is kind of sweet because they can perform more different kinds of labors and things like that, but on the other hand, it's more mouths to feed and I need to make more food. So surprise, next episode subject will be how to make subterranean farms for pleasure and food. Cool. So I'm going to just go ahead and resume this so you can see these little guys. Oh, look, yay, they're walking towards my camp somewhere. They're walking across the map, carrying all of their hopes and dreams, which I hope to crush utterly at some point soon. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll have another video coming soon.